Learn, Evolve, Apply, Dominate. That's the acronym for LEAD series. LEAD series has got some house rules, okay, which I'm very sure I will share now, but as we go on, you'll actually get used to it. We're going to have fun with our guest today. Our guest today is Bernard Avle. I'm very sure most of you know him. If you don't know him, you're not second year. And I think he's come a very long way. We're going to have a chance to interact with him, hear his story as well. He'll share a lot with us, learn a lot from him today, and I'm very sure one way or the other, this positive impact will go out there and also share it. We want to say a very big thank you to Stanchart as well for giving us a brand new place, being part of this series to share our story, to help us share our story as well. For those of you, again, who have followed this series, 13 editions so far, you know how we've been hopping, right? Yeah, today we are here to stay. So I want to say a very big thank you. Please, a round of applause, say a big thank you to Stanchart. And yes, it's a brand new app, the SC mobile app, so do well to download it, okay? Transfer your money from the other banks. There's some bankers here who are looking at me like, yeah, you too. So transfer your cash here and then do also enjoy the ease with SC Mobile. I've tried it myself, it's lovely, it's workable, and I think I can stay here. It's my new family. So bye-bye to my old bank. Wait a minute, you can wave bye to your old bank. I know someone looked at me like, yeah, Jay, whatever. It's all good, the truth is the truth. Anyway, so without wasting much time, ladies and gentlemen, he's here with us. At this point in time, please, at least, we can do better than what you did for me. Okay, and let's be upstanding and welcome our season host of City FM's morning show, Mr. Bernard Koku Avle, please. Yes. He's a bit shy, isn't he? I can see the shyness in his eyes. Or green jeans, which one do you think you like? Or would fit him best?
None of the above.
But that goes a long way to say that I want to ask you, what are some of the commonest or truest comments, statements that or perception people have about you?
Thank you, Jay. I'm very happy to be here.
Yes,
it's a nice place, and to be interviewed by the great Jay Foley, it's like one of the things on my bucket list.
That's my head is going with.
A lot of people don't know who I am. A lot of people assess me on the basis of what they hear on the radio, and they assume I'm a very intelligent person. But it's very easy to appear intelligent. So, and a lot of people think I'm very bold and very fearless, and they think I'm very extroverted, but they're wrong, because I'm afraid a lot of times. Sometimes I can fire something on here and I say, yeah, Charlie, this thing, somebody here and die finish you. You know, and then they think I'm very outgoing, but I actually think I'm an introvert.
Is it?
Really, I think I am. I don't know. You can ask people around me. So the thing is, people see only the 20%, and the 80% is underwater. So a lot of people don't know. You know, and because I don't get this opportunity very often to be interviewed.
Yeah.
So I conveniently hide the 80% and just work with the 20.
What is your biggest fear?
It depends on in which area. I don't rank my fears like that.
Okay.
In terms of giving, if I start giving my fears rankings, the ones that I give higher ranks will appear very often. So the ones I'm afraid of, I hide them deep so they don't know I'm afraid of them.
I'm afraid of heights. Which one would yours be?
Oh, that kind of thing.
Yes.
I'm not claustrophobic, so I think I am more. I'm not saying I'm afraid of heights, but the first time I came to this building, I see L.E.A.D and a few friends took me up to, like, one of the higher floors.
Yeah.
And then they said I should come and stand by the glass. And I said, well, I'm coming for it some way. So you let me just stay in the middle once I can watch. Because the glass, there was no metal, nothing. They said, oh, come in. I said, oh, no problem. I can see outside, it's fine. So maybe I'm not afraid of heights.
Are you afraid of flying?
Not really. Although after the recent one or two things, I'm not afraid of flying.
Yeah, but sometimes about traveling.
Sometimes when you read too much about what happens to a plane,
yeah,
sometimes too much is not good enough.
Exactly, I know. It's quite normal for people to speak ill of others, you know, considering the fact that you are in the limelight. How do you deal with the people who attack you? Do you ignore it? Do you fight back? Maybe in the morning you see an email from somebody who's saying that I don't like what you did yesterday, you were wrong, and How do you handle those critiques? Do you walk away from them?
That's a really great question. I try and pre-qualify whose opinion matters, because doing the kind of work I do, you will hear a lot of things. Not everybody's praise is flattering. Some people's praise is genuine. Others are just flattering you. In the same way, not everybody's criticism is malicious. Some people really want you to improve. So what you try and do is to get discernment, to differentiate the two. And I think one of the things I try to do is not to miss out on people who mean well. Okay. Because, look, I can trust the wrong person. It will cost me something. But not trusting the right person will cost me more. Because those are doors that will never open. So I don't have a straightjacket answer to what happens when somebody criticizes me. It depends on who it is.
Are there any instances you can actually remember, recall, per your job in the mornings, or probably at work in the office space, where something has happened, someone has said something about you? Did you react to it? Did you walk away from it? Did you confront the person?
Well, you see, I think that because I've been prepared for where I am and what I do, it's easy. I'll give you an example. When I was on campus, Legon, I was a JCR executive of Legon House, JCR secretary. So you have to organize hall meetings, hall cleanups. Legon House students, they feel they've arrived, they have a bit of money. So trying to lead them is hard.
Any Legon House students here?
So I felt at the back. So there was a day I was given an announcement about a cleanup, and then somebody was like, he gave me the F word from the 5th floor of an XA. Basically, he added my mother to the insult. And he really worried me, oh, Charlie, this guy, I'm trying to help you. But it's like, oh, you instead of coming to study in school every day, politics, foolish boy, that kind of thing. So it really worried me at the time. But that's the preparation you have, because if you are going to host a show that's very well listened to, you're going to interview politicians, you're going to annoy people, you need to learn how to deal with feedback. And I think the preparations I've gone through on campus and the other places I've been to have helped me. So I'm not trying to say that right now I'm cool, everything somebody says is fine, but I'm saying it's made me a bit tougher, it's made me a bit more philosophical, because a lot of people you are trying to help don't know you are trying to help them, because they can't really see what you see. And Kwame Nkrumah faced the same problem. A lot of great leaders, the biggest task is to open people's eyes to see what you're trying to do for them. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the person you're trying to help, that's why if you're trying to save somebody in a drowning situation, you have to allow them to get to a point of helplessness. Because the truth is that a lot of people have a little bit of information and they run with it, right? And there's nothing more dangerous like partial knowledge.
Yeah.
And I feel in the kind of work I do, there are a lot of people who are, Bright Simmons called them, they are militantly ignorant. So they don't know everything, nobody knows everything. And even what you're discussing, they have a little information about it, but they are so aggressively opposed to what you're doing because somebody has said to them, you are this or that. So if you have to rise and do well, you need to learn how to manage those things. Otherwise, you're going to discourage yourself, you're going to quit one day and say, this whole thing doesn't make any sense, let me just go and live somewhere and live a small life. Yeah. So for me, it's a daily effort in emotional intelligence, leading and managing change.
Wow. He's mentioned some names already. You see, people like him, they read a lot. So Kwame Nkrumah was in there. Who else? I don't know the second person. That's what I'm asking you. Please put your hands together for. But now, let's get to know you at work. What time do you get to work every day? Monday to Friday?
That's a security question. No, I mean, my show starts at 6:20. Mm-hmm. So when I started this show in the early 2000s, 2004, 2005, I had to get there at least an hour to time. Mm-hmm. But these days, there's WhatsApp. So my team, we are sitting here planning what we're doing, right? Okay. There's no point in, because in those days, you have to go print stuff, read it, be there and all those things, choose your music. These days, everything can be done, so I can literally get there at 6 o'clock and be ready for 6:20.
Interesting. So you go on at 6:20.
Yeah, because physically being there is not. I can sit there from 5 a.m. and not do anything.
Yeah.
Right. Or I can prepare and get there at 6 o'clock and be ready for 6:20. Yeah. So people think, oh, this guy they go work 4:30. No, this is 2019. You can't go to work at 4:30.
I don't think this applies to bankers, does it? We are inside SC buildings.
No, I actually think, funny, a lot of my friends who live in the Western world, they comfortably work from home. One of my best friends, mm-hmm. he will be doing conference calls stop and go and change diapers and things. And he's working from the internet works, and he's on calls and stuff. And I'm there studying in his house. Here, if your boss doesn't see you, doesn't trust you, so this guy, they go work for somebody to work out. So I feel it's a question of trust and infrastructure.
Yeah.
If the internet works and if systems work, and then if people can be trusted, there's no reason why you should come to work that early.
This means that when you tune in and you haven't heard anyone early between 6 and 6:20, you say that, tell your friends, oh, Bernard, you have to work home. Relax. What is your designation at or role at City?
So, officially, I am the general manager for news, or general manager. That's officially my position. But I prefer to refer to myself as the host of the City Breakfast Show, because in a lot of media houses, people who do well in media are given management roles. So, a lot of you started out as a host, and you manage. So when they see, because it's a meritocracy in that sense, if you understand what it takes to build a great program, then you can be a programs manager. So I am the general manager on paper, but I lead the team that does news and current affairs.
Okay.
So yes, I understand sales and the other parts of the business working under the CEO, but I love more the news and current affairs part of my job.
Okay.
Which is why you've called me. You didn't call me here because I'm the general manager.
No.
You called me here because of what I do on the radio.
Exactly.
Which is what I also love.
Exactly. What is, let me say, something must drive you beyond salary and, going to work, waking up every morning, committing that time to spend at City. What is that extra thing that makes you want to wake up every morning and use the same route since 2004, you say, till 2019? To that place to do the same thing. What is that extra thing?
I don't know. So a couple of things. You said something must drive you more than salary. So let me be a bit technical.
I'm sure salary is.
No, salary doesn't. Salary doesn't drive me at all. Salary is described. If you do a bit of HR, they'll say money for people who are highly driven is not a motivator. Its presence is not a motivator, but its absence is a demotivator. So
say that again.
So somebody very much smarter than I am, who did a lot of work in organizational behavior, said money for people in a work environment is not a motivator, but its absence is a demotivator. So it describes money as a hygiene factor, meaning that if you don't pay people well, they will not be happy. But you don't increase their happiness by giving them all the money in the world. Do you get me? So what you try and do is to pay people enough for them to feel they're not being exploited. So that's why. So if you say what motivates me, so money certainly doesn't motivate me, because I've never asked for a salary increment. They always, why? Because if you know you have somebody good, you don't need to ask him to raise. The people employ me as smart, so they always raise my salary before I think about salaries.
Your salary is
that's one. But the truth is that in media people are not paid well because the industry hasn't developed that well. Because in every society where media does well, you either have a strong public broadcaster or a very strong private sector that can fund advertising in media, right? So let's go back to your question. What motivates me? I'm motivated by two things: the opportunity to make a difference and the time that we're in. I always tell people, if I were born in 1950 and I was 37-year-old, which I am now, in 1987, I wouldn't be doing the job I'm doing, because there will be only GBC and David Ampofu and the others are too good. So I wouldn't get a chance to do what they are doing. So time is part of who I am. So I'm motivated by the fact that I was born in 81, and by 95 they started the private radio stations. So when I finished the in 2004, CTFM was ready to take me. So my success is partly providence, and a lot of it is providence. So it's not my ability. So I'm motivated by the fact that a time is coming where this opportunity may not exist. So this moment is very powerful. So it motivates me that there will never be another 20, 25, 30 years like what I'm experiencing. So I have to write my name in the sands of time now, because somebody who's doing what I'm doing in the next 15 years may do it in a different way, and it may not be the same way as seminar as Comrade Dumont did it. So that's one motivator. Number two, making a difference. Not all of my, so on my way here, one of my mates, smart guy, I saw him in the traffic. He's going to drop his dad at the airport. He works in the bank. His car is bigger than mine. He's probably paid more than I'm paid. But I said, Charlie Bernard, you're a big man. And his father was giving me funds. Now, it's not the funds that motivates me, right? But the fact that I have the chance to do something that somebody can say to his dad, so this is the Bernard you've been looking at. This is the guy who you should send the text message to do something. So we were 436 in pre-sec when we graduated. A lot of my mates are proud of me. I wasn't the smartest, but it's because I'm leading in public. And I think it's a motivator that of all the smart guys who could be interviewing politicians, I'm the one they've chosen to do it. So if that doesn't motivate you, then I don't know what else does.
Exactly. Please put your hands together. Very true. The part that really strikes me was when my son was young, 437. Do you remember how many you were in when you were in SS?
People have better judgment. My younger people are more vibrant and are more daring. And looking at where we are in our media space, the older people are on the board. They say, you guys, you know what? Let's make sure what you are doing makes sense. But the truth is that most change is driven by young people who want to experiment. Graphic designers, journalists, camera guys, production crew. They are just brilliant. So City is family because we are all young and we eat together. We had a big party after the meeting. People are teasing each other. Liverpool will not win the league. They are stressing me out. That's what it is, because we have a boss who is very open. He supports Arsenal. He's always complaining that his team is disgracing. So it's family. So it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like work because you are going to meet friends. So that's what has kept it fresh for me.
I'm actually asking because I know people are here who probably share interest in wanting to work at City, isn't it? No, we're getting there. Now, your leadership style, I know news it's a big deal, and that's one of the key things that positions your radio station as premier. What is your leadership style with your team? Stern boss, easy to approach, no nonsense guy, or we are good to go?
Again, I have to think about this. So I try to lead, for example, because I am also a host of a radio show and I lead a team. I have to be excellent. So there's no point saying a lot of nice things and your show sucks and you can't do good interviews, you come to work late, you can't write a good script, you can't summarize anything. So my first idea is I have to be the best journalist CTFM has, right? That's number one. But number two, everything can't be about me. So what is happening is now we're looking for people and developing people who can do what I do without me necessarily being there. Right, so right now we are using mentorship, we are using different approaches to raise a core team of fearless, well-read, honest journalists. And so part is leadership, by example. The other one is direct mentorship, where you look at somebody's work and say, you know what, you've done a great job, but you can do better. This interview was fine, everybody's hailing you, but if everybody's hailing you doesn't mean you've done a good job. You could have done it this way. Yes. So we pay attention to the people because the human beings are our greatest resource. If you take out the human beings out of this building, it's just a structure, it doesn't do anything. Yeah. So CTFM and CTTV is not the brand name, it's the people. So we try and spend a lot of our time developing people. So can you go and do this degree here? You go and do this program here. Okay. It's people development. Yeah. Because your most appreciable asset as a leader is people. Everything else deteriorates. If you buy a car, it deteriorates. If you buy a building, the only thing a leader has that appreciates with time is human beings. Yet people spend more on cars, on decorations, on perfume than on human beings, which doesn't make any sense. So one of the things we've discovered is that if we develop our people, we'll be excellent.
Wow, that's very true. So those of you who are personal businesses, look at your people. It's very important. Talk about personal businesses. Do you have any side business, side City? Being on radio, managing a news team.
So I don't know. I've tried a few things. So okay. I tried a TV show with a couple of friends. Okay. We did it on Viasat one. It worked. But I'm not your typical businessman because I feel to be true to the media work I do, it will not be. I shouldn't have a business interest directly, although CTFM is the business I run. Yeah. Because I'm very obsessed with building Brand City to a point where it can fend for itself without me. And I can't have time for other things. So I do get a lot of gigs and things, but I haven't really created a proper business because I only have time to manage it as well. So every now and again, I get together with friends. So I started something about Boachi, I Journal Africa. So I always get people who can carry things through because I am not that smart to manage things remotely. So for now, City is my focus. I'm not that type of back businessman, advertising agency. No, I can't.
That's understandable. Now, juggling the administrative life with creative radio life, it comes with this challenge. It's like you rightly said earlier on. Now, so how do you condition your mind to run both? Because when you try to reach Bernard after 10 a.m., it's full of meetings and business.
Yeah.
But between that period, when you send your message, you will definitely get him to read it, even if you have English mistakes in there, grammatical errors in there. How are you juggling the two?
So, look, I think the key to life is balance and equilibrium. So it's very hard to switch, right? Because you've just finished a show that's running at 300,000 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
You are reading comments, people are calling in, like telling people, and then you finish and you have to now go and meet somebody who's come to you from Kumasi, who's somebody has taken their land and they want you to listen to them. So to switch from this high equilibrium thing
so you do get things like that.
Yeah, to become a normal human being, to now have a meeting with your colleagues. It's so that's why for me, for example, when we finish our show and we are eating in the kitchen, it's a really good time to cool down, to become human again, right? So that's why it has to be family, because otherwise I'll have to depend on something else, because it's a very high octane life and it's very up and down.
Yeah.
So you need strong friends. You need people who know you. You need a team that understands you. You need a great family. My wife is amazing. I don't think about problems in the house. You can't, I'm sure you ask the question, you can't do the kind of things that you do if your wife or your husband doesn't support you and doesn't push you. When she asked me around 5 days to 4, where are you? I said, I'm not going to change. She said, you are late, you are very late. I was like, oh, Charlie, I've told them I'll be there soon. So, okay, cool. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, but you can't succeed if you're a family person without your partner. So, and that keeps me sane, right? Because how do I balance it? Yesterday, the whole day I was home with my son. She had to go out because the whole week I've been out. So I am home. Whether you are the host of City Breakfast Show, you have to change diapers, you have to do what you have to do. You have to do it. You see, and you need that in your life. Otherwise, you feel you are this superhuman guy who can't do anything wrong. If you get your family wrong, you can't get much right? So it's very important to have that balance and to have that reminder that apart from all the big things you are still somebody's daddy and you are still somebody's husband.
Wow, interesting. Now, the morning show across the world is the key driver to the success of most radio stations. Morning and drive time. I'm just schooling a little bit, that's more I know, please. So, in Ghana, morning shows is very competitive.
Yeah.
But somehow, someway, you've managed to worm your way to become one of the most listened to morning shows in the capital. Isn't it true? Yes. When we hit a certain age, above 25, where do you listen to City FM, Bernard Avle, the shoe? What has been your strategy? Not the secret one, but the one you can share. What has been Bernard's strategy?
Well, I don't think it's Bernard, it's more City. And the way City prepared me. Because you're right, morning shows are hyper competitive and very difficult. When I started, I was young. So I was able to grow into the show. So the reason people, when they get to a certain age, will listen to me is that they will say, this guy gets it.
Yeah.
Right? So there are different radio formats. So when you're in your teens, there's certain things you like. You don't want all these problems. But actually, when you finish service, you're not going to get a job. And you tune the radio and they are talking some other things. You get angry. So you want somebody on the radio who gets you. When he gets the employment minister, you ask him the right questions.
Yeah.
He knows how much you earn from national service, knows you have to take trust from Adenta to 37. And internship, you are not paid. The push should get that. So you shouldn't be calling politicians his friends and going for meetings with them and being like a big boy.
Yeah.
He must be our rep there.
Yeah.
So that's one. So I'm very clear who my audience is. Ghanaians who want to do better, who don't have a chance to question their leaders directly very often. Okay, so that's one of the secrets. Number two, you have to be a continuous learner because things evolve. So what worked in 98, 2004 will not work in 2019 because 10 years ago, news broke on radio. Now news breaks on Twitter.
Yeah.
So you can't claim to be like, hey, we are the big man. No, so you must tweak your product to reflect that reality.
Yeah.
So we've tried to understand the times and create a radio program that resonates and has all the elements of humor, relatability, seriousness, all within a very seamless way. So it sounds very easy to listen to, but there's a lot of background work. And we've built a strong team.
Yeah.
So even though I am the host of the show, there's a strong team. The other thing I'll say is, so the show builds on my strength. Don't forget that when I started radio, the big boy in the house was Komla, and Komla's show was based on his strength.
Yeah.
Right? So to do well in radio, the show must reflect the personality of the host. Prepare for the interview. So Mauli takes this picture and then puts it on the CTFM WhatsApp platform, and then Samuels puts it on Facebook. You know. So I had no idea when he took it.
And then the picture just went viral.
Yeah, because you see, the thing is to ask a good question, there's a lot you require, a lot of research. Look at how research you do. You can't ask a question that will stand on its 2 feet if it's not well grounded.
Yeah.
So to ground your questions, you need background, you need context, you need to know what the person has said before, you need to compare what other people have said. It's a lot of work.
Would you say that when you listen to radio, you know, would you say we lack research? A lot of media personalities lack this gift of doing research before they go. I know you don't want to commit yourself, but in your personal opinion, what do you think?
You know, research is not a gift. It's a decision, first point. No, I mean, it depends on it depends on the format. So because ours is a bit of hard news, and you're dealing with politicians and comparing on records and things, Charlie. But I think it applies everywhere. You must know, like, you're interviewing me well because you know me. You know how when I wake up, you know all these things. So I think it's more preparation. The difference between success and failure preparation is not necessarily because it's radio or whatever. And the issue is, if you value truth, you will research, right? Because it's the truth that will set you apart. So in whatever field you are, your quest is to be the best. Even if you're a footballer, you must understand. I mean, if you look at Pep Guardiola, the amount of football games he watches, you'll be shocked. Wow. A lot of football coaches are football body people. You have to be obsessed about what you're doing. You have to be hungry for information to be able to use it effectively. So I'm not sure it's like City has this wild research thing. We want to be the best. Yeah. We are humble enough to know we don't know everything. And so we subject ourselves to the process. That means prepare. Yeah. If you do that, you will be the best.
What are some of the most striking conversations that has gotten huge feedback, you know, on your show? I know Galamsey was one.
Wow.
Or which other?
A lot. I mean,
some. Or one.
They are different. So I've had different. So the way my show works is sometimes we discuss things that we are very passionate about, and it's like 4 of us. So there was a day we read a story that somebody had littered Accra, and the person had been jailed for 2 years. Right? It was a major issue. So my view was that
2 years.
Yes, because he had stolen the dustbin. And some of the people on the panel said, you know what? In Ghana, no laws work. So we need to if people litter by heart, so if we don't jail people for doing the wrong thing, everything goes. And then some people are like, no, but people are stealing millions of dollars. You're not jailing them. And somebody stole a dustbin. Why are you putting me in prison? Why are you letting me commission it? So that was a very serious, people called in, some were very angry, some were very quiet, because for every serious issue, it raises tensions. And the tension is between getting people to do the right thing by using reward and punishment, and also justice, where only the poor get punished and the rich go scot-free. So when you get to a topic like that, it was a massive show. So it tells you that for issues that, and it goes to the heart of our development question. How do we get people to do the right thing as citizens without giving the impression that we are only punishing the poor and letting the rich go free? Do you get my point? Yeah. And we also want order in our society. So we can't also let people do anything they want. But how do we apply the justice system? So it's one of the issues. There are different issues like that. But issues which are double-edged, which go to the heart of the human condition, they always get good response.
How do people react to that story? Someone being jailed for 2 years for
stealing a dustbin, which led to littering. And somebody said the reason he deserved the 2 years is that because he stole the dustbin, somebody would put the baller in a gutter, and the gutter would get full, and somebody would die from flooding. So the person has killed. I'm telling you, somebody went that far. People are thinking, wow, my brother. Somebody did the equation now and said the guy who stole the dustbin has killed.
Yeah. Wow.
And then somebody's like, no, but why can't he do community service? So if the guy has stolen the dustbin, it's punishment to just punish or to deter or to help. So why don't you let him sweep Accra for 1 month?
Wow.
You know, so that's why it was very emotive. And those are topics that let people think, topics that let people show that they care about Ghana. And topics that let people feel that they are part of Ghana's solution.
Those are the ones that strike.
Those are the ones that work.
Do you get attacks, death threats, SMS? Watch out. Because what you do is very sensitive.
I'm not that important for someone that to kill me. No. I mean, I haven't received a direct death threat, no. There are a lot of people who don't understand what we do.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are not happy with the approach we use because they feel we shouldn't have an opinion. We should just give politicians a chance to talk. We are journalists, we should just speak. And we completely reject that. We completely reject that because we are in an era of information and we have a view, we matter. Three students came in from a university who said they had a radio show and they said they wanted to host people on the show, politicians, and I said, it's good. But the three of you are also legitimate panelists. Get other students to speak. Stop ceding the airwaves to only political people. So I told them, the show should not be formatted on the basis of whether Avle comes or Jeffoli comes on the show. You can bring Avle in, you can bring Okonkwo in. But you guys, your views matter too. And it's a radical way of seeing the world because information is now currency. So we can't, so because a lot of people don't like that format. So a lot of people are like, oh, you guys, you always want to attack the government, you don't like politicians. Look, posterity and time is the best test of intentions, right? We've done this with over 4 changes in government and we are still doing the same thing, right? If it was politics that was motivating me, I wouldn't be doing it with the same ferocity I do it. So, number one, we are on the side of the truth. So we are not afraid. And number two, even though we criticize, we don't disrespect. Alright, so the fact that I'm criticizing you, it's very hard for a president to me and say, you are such a bad guy, you are disrespectful. I will be hard on you, but you know I'm still fair. You see, so even if I punch you, you know it's because it's for God and country.
I'm going to come to the Bernard Avle and the politician relationship very soon. But please, I think he deserves a round of applause, honestly. So, you said something about, giving people opportunity, the views of the people matter. You mentioned students. These are keywords that I just brought something up. I want us to understand Bernard's radio story. Now, a little Brett told me that you started somewhere off Legon campus, Radio Universe.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Oh man, I've told that story so many times, I probably have to write a book about it. So I was invited by a friend of mine to a Friday show. It's called The Weekend Teaser, hosted by DJ Black, produced by...
In fact, Bernard, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, before he starts sharing the story, there's another person who played a big role in his life with regards to what he's about to say. Put your hands together for Bernard's friend Maximus, who joins us here today.
Wow.
Better, I think we can do better than that. I bet you're not expecting him to be here.
It's funny he stepped in the time you asked a question because actually when I went to level 100.
Yes.
So let me amend the story. When I was level 100.
Yeah, now he's here. So
I joined a group called L.E.A.D, the Government School South Union. Maximus was one of the leaders.
Okay.
So he sort of took a liking to me.
Okay.
I was level 100, was level 400, so I'll go to his room in Sabah. He was studying geography, so he was like mentoring me.
Okay.
So Maximus used to write.
So you're both in Legon?
Yes. Okay. I was in first year, I was in final year. Maximus used to write drama, radio drama.
Okay.
So around about this time on Sundays on Radio University, they had a show called Open Air Theatre. Yeah. Great. Hosted by Teddy Totime. Yes. And then later on Avle. So Maximus would write a script, and I was acting out the radio drama. Mm-hmm. So for the first semester of level 100, Maximus, Sunday after church, he would take me to Radio University to read this radio drama for a whole semester.
Why did you decide to take Bernard, level 100 boy? I'm sure you had a lot of other people that you could have connected with. What about Bernard?
I don't even know really, because we were all in LPU. I knew Rita, the senior sister. She was my senior too as well. And I knew Michael in Presec, so we all attended Presec. So it was just a natural thing.
Did you see something in him?
I don't see.
I don't know.
No, but it was a sharp. Bernard was very smart. Those days, if you spoke to Bernard, you could see that this is a young person who was well read, who could speak very frequently. And I was a Sunday school superintendent then, so we were doing the Bible studies and all that. So Bernard was contributing. And of course, he looked like a very respectable person. And because I knew Rita, and then Michael too as well. So it was just a natural thing.
Are you aware that we are all seated in this room here today because of that little move you made of taking Bernard to radio?
It was an innocent help. I'll put it that way.
I bet you haven't regretted that decision in any way.
You see, I always feel proud that I just pushed Bernard a little bit to get to that point. The dream was there, maybe the destiny too was there. He knew where he was going, and then the desire was there. I was just there to help. I was the donkey.
What kind of life did Bernard live on L.E.A.D campus?
That I don't know, really. Because let's go to Radio University, will go with me, we're doing a radio drama called Tingy Tingy, so named after the hall. So just live on campus. Okay. So started writing that, and I was doing a bit of poetry, so it was a poetry program called Open Air Theatre.
Okay. And Bernard, what about you? When you went there, did you feel this was the program that you wanted to do, or did you feel no, there's more I want? You now had the opportunity from him, which he had presented.
You know, it's funny because for a whole semester, I think God was trying to say something to me. I was not listening. Because I followed. Remember, there was a particular Sunday. They said there was a meeting of the Radio Universe volunteers, and he said we should go. I said, Charlie, I'm not part. I'm just a radio drama reader. So in the second semester, a friend of mine invited me to a debate on DJ Black's program at the same Radio Universe.
Okay.
Which debate topic was men and women who are more promiscuous, right? So
who are more promiscuous
in relationships. That was the topic. So DJ Black is the host, and Koshika, my friend, is the producer. So then I go and debate Araba. Araba went to Gay from Volta Hall, Legon Hall. We have this debate, and essentially Araba wins the debate because the phone ends. So I got only one call supporting me. Even men who called supported her. So I was just, it was like, no, she finished me on the debate, right? Yeah. But I was so argumentative and so determined not to lose the debate that Francis Ankara, who was then the deputy station manager, said, you know what? Who are you? Where are you from? What is this? So it's like, you know what? Are you free on Monday? I'm like, I'm free. And it's okay. Do you want to be trained to be a journalist? And I said, of course, I want to be trained to be a journalist. Up until then, I hadn't even dreamt of being a journalist. It was never in my plan. Okay. So he says,
what was the original idea?
Oh, I wanted to be an economist. So I was studying economics that were focused on working the World Bank and basically, yeah, that's where my mind was. So when he asked me whether I was interested in being trained to be a volunteer broadcaster, I actually just thought it was something nice to do on the side.
Okay.
But when I entered the Radio Universe system properly in the newsroom, it was like a fish to water.
Was your intention to get him to be a radio presenter?
No, I think it was his intention to be on radio. That's why when I told him to go and help me read a character in the script, he agreed to do it.
It's quite strange that a level 400 student would connect so well with a level 100 student. Because, I mean, definitely we'll all be expecting for you to roll with your peers. I believe that selection was not necessarily bent on the fact that he was available, so you just took him on.
I think I'm a product of other people's help, so it comes naturally to also offer it to other people.
Let me ask you this last question before I exit you, and be very honest. Will you encourage him today to take on a political role? And which role would you recommend?
I think Bernard needs to be the president of Ghana one day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you. Please take a seat. Please put your hands together for Maximus. Thank you so much. You didn't know, Bernard didn't know Maximus was coming.
Wow.
What was your responsibility? What was your role?
Well, you see, because we were trying to build something, and it's very fun. Even in those days, we knew that we were going to build something that would shake the system. Because at that time, there was only Joy FM that was in the mold that we were trying to be cast. And the team, we had Samens, Paul, Adomachi and co. They knew radio.
Yeah.
So it was a very vibrant group. And most of us were students, fresh from Legon or GIG or Tech. And we were all in our early 20s. So it was vibrant. We did like 3 months rehearsal before we did our first radio broadcast. Right? Just because we knew we were onto something big. That's why I said the time is part. Because again, radio had matured. Private radio started in 95.
Yeah.
Joy, Peace, and all these guys. So in 2005, it's like is really mature to start forming properly. So we're very lucky that City started at that time, learned from some of the mistakes the others had made, and then carved a niche for itself. So it was a very exciting time. When thinking about money, it was, look, and media was very powerful. Don't forget that this was the first voice of the Kufuor government. They had repealed the criminal libel law. And because of the way the 2000 elections had gone, a lot of people were listening to radio. Ghanaians trusted the media at the time. So it was, even though a lot of people thought it wasn't a really serious job, go and study something more serious. For me, my purpose was there. So
what show did you start doing then?
Oh, so we're all in the newsroom. So National Service, working in the newsroom, producing. So I was producing Paul Adomatri, who was co-hosting the morning show with Mark Diamond, and I was also producing Eyewitness News. So we're in the production team. And then before the election, there was a day there was nobody to host the show, and they asked me to step in. And I said, this is a chance for Ghana.
That's the story. And lots of presenters. Now, at this point in time, there were some other persons who also were working with Bernard, who joined Bernard later on at City FM. And it's only right that we hear their story, right? Ladies and gentlemen, he mentioned one of them's name earlier on. Take a wild guess.
Is it Clement?
Well, we'll just find out. One of them took the picture that we just saw. Please let's welcome Clement and Mauli.
Oh, wow.
Please take a look at that.
Now, I don't know what to expect.
I
Surprised I mentioned Clement's name and he's just here.
He's here.
Mauli, the one who took the photo.
Interesting.
Wow.
Mauli, that picture, you know, it's illegal to just take somebody's picture and post like that. Didn't you sue him in any way for that picture? Because clearly you are not aware of it.
You see,
you're not in your element at that point in time.
Wow.
And please display that picture again.
The beauty of that picture was the spontaneity of it.
Because so come shortly.
Mauli, usually when I'm in my office and I'm stressed, we talk. So he came in and we're talking whilst I was preparing. I didn't even know he had a camera on him.
Okay.
How did you? What did you use?
My phone. I mean, I produce Bernard sometimes. I do research for him sometimes. So I went to the office and I was going to interview the finance minister. And Bernard likes to prepare for his interviews. So you do a lot of research, ask you questions, ask you for information about whatever he's going to talk about. So this day I got to his office and then he asked me to get him some infographics. When I brought the infographics, wasn't paying attention to the graphics that I had brought. He was just reading. Then you, get me this book, get me that book. Economic history of Ghana by this person. You go for, when I traveled to London, I bought this economic book. Check if you can find it for me. This guy was just caught in the reading of stuff, and I was like, but this is Ken Oforiatta. He's your friend. You speak to him a lot of times. I mean, so why have you taken this interview?
He wanted to pin him down.
So personal.
I took it well up.
So I was just looking at the guy and I got into my element and I just took the
picture. Mischief. Yes. Clement, you have a legal background.
Yes.
You're a lawyer. Isn't there? Can't he be sued for this?
Oh no, this one they have consent.
This is my lawyer, by the way.
But I didn't make it public, so I sent it to Samens. Samens, Charlie. Today,
so he was reporting you.
I was like, Samens, but a guy won't finish the minister. So Samens said, oh, this is good for Facebook.
And put it out there.
So he was supposed to even put it out there.
After 10 o'clock, you being a legal person, I'm very sure there are times that Bernard has said certain things that raises, issues of people coming back that, hey, there are legal issues there. Are there any moments you can recall like that and how you handle that? Because for him, he's the boxer. He's punching.
So we actually don't wait till 10 o'clock. Sometimes when the show is going, I say, this thing you can't say it. And I'm not there, I will send a text message that this thing you said, let's go back and check and say it this way. Otherwise, after the the show will have issues. Sometimes even before we address a certain issue, the day before or even the morning, whilst the jingles are playing, you think that they are sitting down drinking tea. No, we are behind the scenes talking. Say, this matter, if I talk, a problem will come. Say, okay, say it this way, and let's protect ourselves. So that's how we go about it.
But what about the instances where it's been said? Have you had instances like that people have gotten back to you with legal issues based on things that Bernard has said?
I think on the show, not actually Bernard himself, but on the show with Richard Sky.
Okay.
They will say something on the newspaper review. If I recall, there was one that Sky was saying that he had a problem with defamation. He had said something. And we're like, let's look at what he said, and let's see how we can help the situation. And sometimes with defamation, if you go and say you said it's based on information you had at a certain time and you didn't mean to slander or you didn't have any malicious intent when you made those statements, I think we apologize and we move on. But most of the time we try to be very accurate. And sometimes in the morning, I no longer work at CTFM, but my radio is locked on CTFM. So when I sit in my car at 6:30 from home, on the motorway I can park and send him a text message. Like this week, we're going to discuss something on vaccines.
I'd love to hear this.
And I told him that, Bernard, this vaccines and the way they are introducing it, we need to check the systems and how they are going to implement so that in the next 20, 30 years, if we have children coming up with certain diseases, or certain ailments, what mechanisms have been put in place to protect the parents of these. So I told him that if you're addressing this issue, look at it from that angle. And that's how we've been communicating since we left in 2006.
For you as production, coming from that end, feeding him with information, does he fight you on some of the things you present to him?
Bernard is like a walking encyclopedia. I mean, he knows a lot of things, from economics to geography to sociology to scriptures. I mean, he knows stuff.
Please, I think, honestly.
So there are times you present the figures and it's a genuine mistake, and he'll tell you that no, this can't be it. And sometimes you present it, you want it to be, presented in a certain way, and Bernard will say no, that's not it. I remember when we were producing him for the Ghana Report. That was our first
TV experiment.
So we were at City, and then we're doing Ghana Report on Viasat 1. I mean, radio is, I tell you, you can talk back at me. I mean, you can put the microphone off and tell me that no, this is not what I'm looking for TV. But for TV, you are speaking into the earpiece. Bernard, let's go this way. Don't mind you. This is what he wants to do. And he will do it. And after the show, when you come, he will tell you why he has to do it. I mean, we fight. As for the fighting, it's normal. You will fight. And he always has to win the argument. So
how does that, what kind of image does it paint to your friends? And I want to take this out of the office now into personal life and home. Is that how he is?
No, so
does he always want to make sure that he's won the argument?
No, so Bernard has been very argumentative ever since I've known him. Okay. So in Legon Hall, if you see a group of young men making noise, you are sure that out of the 10, you see Bernard hovering around. At Radio Universe, if there's an argument, you are sure Bernard will be there. And at CTFM, same. I mean, I used to do the newspaper review with him. We had our own differences. But in the morning, when we get to the studio, those listening will say, oh, this was awesome. But when we move out, the arguments and the banter
just flows.
Yes, and the arguments will continue if I have something to say. And when he has a point, oh my God,
forget about it. He has to make sure.
And when he knows, oh, is it that bad? And sometimes I'll say, this is legal. This is legal. So let the lawyers handle it. Sit down. But when he has a point, he will not.
I like that. In the interest of time, let me get you to play a little game with me. Now I want you to tell me yes or no, almost at the same time. Okay? You can join in. Will Bernard attend the Shatawale show on Easter Sunday at the Dome?
No.
Next question. Next question. Next question. You have a chance to actually.
I have nothing against Shatawale, by the way.
Will Bernard accept a political position if offered the role as Minister of Finance?
No. Maybe. Because I think 3 weeks ago we had a certain conversation.
Okay, now I want to find out, yes?
Where he told me he went to speak to a certain man, where the man told him that you cannot say that, never say that you would, and he was actually advising me, because I have the same opinion that I don't think that politics is what we need to do. Maybe you look for a niche. So he was saying we shouldn't say that.
So it's not my ambition.
Yes.
It's not something I'm hoping for.
Yes.
I'm hoping I'll inspire a lot of young people to do the best of what they are supposed to do, including politics. Right? I don't need to do politics for Ghana to do better.
Okay.
There are a lot of smart people who can do it.
Wouldn't you want him to be the Minister of Finance? Will Bernard accept to play a role in a Kumawood movie as a pastor or man of God who saves a young lady from spiritual attacks?
Yes. He has a comical side.
Now, will he play a role in the Kumawood movie?
I don't think so.
Bernard?
It's difficult because we are here saying we want to improve our entertainment, right? So
you will?
No, I'm just saying. I mean, look, we need Kumawood is important.
Yes, we know that, but will you?
As I sit here now.
Yes.
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, Mercedes-Benz or BMW? What would be his choice?
Tata.
Mercedes-Benz or BMW values?
Knowing Bernard,
Yes.
I don't think he has a choice on Mercedes or BMW. Bernard is anything goes. As long as the vehicle can move it from one place to the other.
Then let's make it tougher for him then. So if both brands had called you for a brand endorsement deal, which required that you would get a BMW, a 2019 BMW or a Mercedes, which one would you go for?
But that one, it will depend on the people who called me and the relationship I have with them. But Maul is right. Because life is too serious to be choosing between BM and there are more important things in the world than to sit and choose one BM or no.
I've got another question. Will Bernard pay a bribe or rather have Mauli jailed for life for a criminal offense?
Mauli will go to jail. I will make sure that Mauli ends up in jail at the courts.
These questions are actually to bring out the personality. So I want to find out if Bernard will never, under no circumstance, pay a bribe, even if it meant his best friend was going to be jailed for life.
I'm sure there are better ways of selling money than bribe. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, getting things done in Ghana is tough.
Yeah.
And I've paid money for things I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Just because of the convenience of it. So I won't sit down and pretend as if I'm like some goody two shoes, honest,
Please put your hands together for you for the honest. My last one before we exit. Will Bernard attend? Bear in mind he said he doesn't have anything against Shatawale. So but he wouldn't go on Easter Sunday. So let's change the artist and change the date. Will Bernard attend the Stoneboy concert on Boxing Day?
Boxing.
Yes. Yes.
Fine. Fine.
Both will be after service, if there's city service on that day.
Boxing Day, the City FM does help a Christmas child, so they won't. You'll be at the City FM event.
What about you?
And it will be soon after December to remember, so some boy would have been there already. So
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Clement Emmanuel. Thank you so much. You can take your seat. Yeah, good friends with Bernard. I'm still wondering, you know the seats are 4.
I feel there's a big opportunity in this risk, where if we will be diligent with our stories, with our follow-throughs, and when we make mistakes, say, you know what, we got it wrong, and not pretend that we didn't get it wrong. I think because trust is the most important commodity in this whole issue. So, and the other thing about bloggers is that because of the way new media works, everybody here can do a different story from today's program. Somebody can say, Bernard say, I pay bribes. That's the angle they got. Somebody can say, Bernard say, one day, I'll never go to Shatawale concert. Because that's how they understand. Somebody can say, Bernard said, which one did I say about Mercedes-Benz? You know what I mean? So they will pick, because they don't get the context of whatever reason, and that will become the whole story. Right? So it's a very dangerous, because right now you can't be a citizen journalist. So Shatawale's point is true, that the way the media works, we have to put in place structures. Structures that can then guide the practice. Otherwise, it becomes a free-for-all, and then credibility is lost. Right? But then people also should know how to differentiate between what is on the social media blogosphere and what comes from reputable organizations. The fact that something is on a website doesn't mean some journalist did it. Because anybody can put a story on anything.
True.
So people need to understand that ecosystem so they don't blame media wrongly.
I think I had a fair share of that with Abraham Atta. I didn't say it, but they said I said it.
And then you couldn't defend it in the places that, because by the time they scatter it on 200 websites, even if you do a press conference, Charlie,
not all pages. Let me ask you now, there's been a hot and cold acceptance of, and this is just your opinion, there's been a hot and cold acceptance on the style of journalism of Anas. In your opinion, would you agree to his methods where it's sets you in the scenario and film catch you taking the money?
No, I think the way we have been characterizing the Anas work is not.
I like Anas, please. I'm just sharing how it works.
But Anas doesn't just set you up and show that you are collecting bribes. So I interviewed him and asked him a question about this, and he said, look, the partners I work with always want you to establish a primary facie case. So for example, Bernard is at the passport office. Everybody who wants a passport, Bernard is collecting bribe. He's not giving people the passport, he's harassing people. So they've established that Bernard likes collecting bribe to give people passport. So then they say, okay, Jay, go for a passport and let's see whether it's true that Bernard collects bribe. So his point is, and I've read the BBC's guidelines on this, they sort of agree that if there's a primary facie case that this person is engaged in this, then the methods they use then justify. So they don't just get up and say, okay, this is Clement, he's a nice man, he has a wife and 2 kids. Let's see whether he will cheat on his wife. And then they just randomly, out of no reason, without any inclination, just say, let's bring some woman to see whether you test him. That is not what he does, from the way I understand it. The other thing is that Anas always says, even though ethics are global, you need to understand context. He says, the challenges we face in getting information here and the problems we face here determine the methods I use. Right? So his point is, in Ghana, and he's done it for about 15 years, right? Done stories on biscuits, polluted, spiritual, a lot. So there are people who are comfortable with the appearance of setup. But I feel if you listen to him and you listen to the other partners he works with, there's a method to the madness. So I have nothing against what he does.
Well, what do you think about Ghana's leadership in all areas, not necessarily the president? Do you think that as Ghanaians, we are not firm or bold or confident enough with the role we call a boss or a leader, so we don't see certain things done? So you still see rubbish, people stealing their rubbish and being jailed. You still hear Anas's stories and all.
So I think it's very easy to look at what other people are doing and sort of say this guy is doing very well because you're not in that situation. And our leaders have been given a bad name for a long time, and I don't want to sound as if we have had bad leaders per se, because leaders emerge from a crucible, a system, they emerge. So the circumstance, the situation, the history creates the leader, right? So the kind of leaders we've had have been shaped by the collective values we've held as a people. Now, what is happening is that there is a change. People are, because of access to information and comparison, people feel they deserve better, right? So it's not as if our leaders have become suddenly very bad. It's just that what it requires to lead this group is no longer the same.
It's the same, yeah.
Okay, so the dissatisfaction with leadership is a result of the increase in the way the followership's eyes are getting opened. So I can predict you that in the next 20 years, the person who will be our president will be much, much better in the next 10 years, because now they know that people know.
Yeah.
Okay, so leading people who don't have access to information, who are not well educated, who don't have the basics of life, it's not the same as leading people who are aware or who get it. So in a nutshell, our leadership has to improve if we, the people, we will not take giving us 20 Ghana cedis for me to vote for you anymore. Those days are gone, right? You can't divide on the basis of our party color, your Ashanti. Those days are past.
Yeah.
We have to say we won't accept it, and force leadership to rise to meet that. So in a sense, we can raise the bar, which we ought to. For leadership. So what created Kagame, if it happens here, you and I will not be alive to have that Kagame experience. Exactly. Because 2 million people were killed. Right? And we can't wait for 2 million people to be killed to get a Kagame. And we can't even test what Kagame is doing until he's left. Because the test of leadership is when you are not there, not when you are there. So the test of Kagame is going to happen when he's no longer there. That's why most leaders want to perpetuate themselves, because they haven't led to a point of themselves becoming irrelevant. So now I'm not in my house. If my house can't function without me, I'm not a good leader. So if everything in my house I have to do is sweep the house, watch the kids, cook the food, pay the school fees, then I'm a bad leader. So the test of your leadership is when you are not there, right? So I don't want us to sit down and say, oh, we are having bad leaders. We have to raise the bar so that we get, and this is not just president, DCE, church leader, head of a bank, head of a radio station, traffic conductor. People have to rise up and lead effectively. That's how a country changes.
In saying that, do you get a sense of lack of commitment among Ghanaians too? Example, the trotro driver isn't going to drive because he genuinely wants to transport people from point A to point B. It's because he wants to make his money and doesn't care what happens, the condition of his car. The nurse is not going to work because she genuinely wants to heal people. She's already leaving home angry. It's a job that's available, so I'm doing it. Do you think that this lost commitment in Ghanaians, which is even, like he said, affecting everything else that we're doing? The Ghanaian is not happy to be a Ghanaian.
If you look, you are right. If you look at it from what is very common, but I can tell that there are lots of people living differently. I have friends who run departments in Kolebu who are doing great things within that department. Because in Ghana we personalize leadership a lot. A lot of people say, oh, we don't want strong leaders, we need strong institutions. No. People are rising up and leading effectively in their little corners. And all we need is a critical mass of people who will show leadership in the spaces they occupy for things to change. I don't think the Ghanaian is that despondent. People are looking for leadership. That's what I always say on air to people who are DCEs or heads of institutions. What are you afraid of? Lead change. You've been given a mandate by the people. Lead change. That's my point. So everybody in Ghana is looking for leadership. And the failure of leadership is because a lot of people don't know that they are part of the solution. They are still looking for somebody else to do it. Okay? So once people get, that's why media is important. Education, media, religion, very important. Once you open people's eyes to see, to have the right self-concept, that's why we go on every day and we hit on the issues. We don't go on there because we hate politicians. We're saying, you promised to do this 2 years ago. What is the status of it? Now, next 2 years, the next politician, before he says, he will think about it. Because now he knows there's a certain guy on radio who's going to play my voice and going to play it 10,000 times and keep repeating, I've done it. So, if we all step up in our various spaces, and if the lights of society, which include media and education, shine the light on the right issues, because no revolution can happen without people seeing. So Ghana can only change if people have the right self-concept. They stop hating themselves. They think everything African is bad. They think that we are just doomed to fail and their only hope is in America. No. People must believe in Ghana. Once you get that, and everybody won't get it, but once those who get that start shining, you will follow them.
Put your hands together for Bernard. I'm saying that now you know our president for 2030 something. I didn't mention names too. Bernard, how do you, the other interesting part is you said something. These politicians you question on radio daily, What happens when you hang up and you go off radio? Do you still have a friendship with them, or some?
Well, I'm not a friend to politicians necessarily. Let's just put it that way. Like the work I do, I have to stay a healthy distance. So I have a respectful relationship with political people because I know the work they do is hard. So, and to be effective in my job, I have to keep a respectful distance. Because one of the tenets of journalism is that journalists must be independent of the people they cover. Okay, so that independence could be a financial independence or even an emotional independence, right? So that's number one. Yet, I meet a lot of them in informal spaces. And for me, I like the young ones. I tell them that it's great what you're doing, but always think about the future. Because you are in a politics that has rules, and you have to earn your rise. So I understand that sometimes you have to go on air and say things. But 20 years time, we will be the guys running the system, and our kids will be about to enter university. If you mess up the system, even if you have built mansions in London, you can't carry all your relatives there. So let's think about Ghana. So me, that's what I tell them when I meet them.
It's interesting.
Outside.
There's an article that popped up, I remember, about NDC saying that they would never have any more interviews on City FM. I've always wanted to ask Bernard that. So how is Bernard going to handle the situation?
No, this is a wrong story. This is a wrong story. So this is a couple of things. This is a story that came out of a certain misunderstanding over paneling on City TV, and I think it's been resolved.
Oh yes,
yeah, it's been resolved because the gentleman in the picture did. I even spoke to him last week about this. There was a misunderstanding about paneling. I think he was in his position probably 2 weeks into his position, so he sort of rushed. But there's nothing.
Story clear. Please, this is not from City.
We don't have a problem with anybody.
It's fine. Now let's walk away from all this. Let me just get your mind on this as well before I run off from here. What are your thoughts on the issues of men's school?
Wow.
And how the government is handling that?
Wow. Charlie, But don't forget that the whole men's school thing is part of a whole financial sector issue.
Yeah.
So, yes, but you separated men's gold. The Bank of Ghana, if you read most reports globally about public institutions, it's supposed to be one of the most effective public institutions in Ghana. And even them, look at the mess the banking sector and all this men's gold thing took place. So on one hand, it's very disappointing that because of lack of clarity on where men's gold stood, because men's gold we're not sure whether they're being regulated by BOG, SEC or Minerals Commission. So there was this so-called regulatory lacuna, if I'm not telling you correctly. So in a sense, sometimes they are dealing and the Security and Exchange Commission feels we have to regulate you. Then they move into something and the Bank of Ghana says no, we are regulating you. Then they move to something Minerals Commission. So when Bank of Ghana says stop, they say we are not our regulator. So that regulatory lacuna allowed them to do a lot of things. And I need to say that we, the media, also helped them. Because they were giving us good money, we were advertising, but also fully understanding the issue. Because there was a time where the SEC would say stop this, and they would say no, you are not a regulator, we are this. The Bank of Ghana said no issue deposits. They say we are not issuing deposits, we are doing collectibles. And Minerals Commission said we are not giving license to collectibles. So no, it's this. So that lack of understanding of what was going on, and I think we take part of the blame, contributed to a lot of people being deceived into doing business with them in the form that it happened. Okay? And then again, when the issues came to a head, I feel because a lot of people's monies have been locked there, Mensgo couldn't really engage logically with anybody again. People are not prepared to listen. So people are angry, they want their money back. So when we allow a situation to get to a point where people are angry and they've lost money, you can't even hear the Mensgo guy actually explain what really went on. Their press conferences were always confusing because people were so angry. So I feel men's gold is it's a regulatory failure. I think it's also a media failure. And then you can fairly say some people who were warned also did not take advice. But they will say, well, they were advertising on your radio station, so even if they warned, that's why we used to advertising them, right? So it's a complex mix of things. Hopefully we've learned from that, and that when somebody comes with a business model we don't understand, we'll check before we proceed with even putting out what they promise.
Please keep your hands down if your money is at Mensgo. See what happens.
Oh, what does that mean?
Keep your hands down if your money is advanced.
Oh, okay.
Well, I also want to please remind you that courtesy SC Mobile, please. I'm just encouraging you all to just download, the app. Enjoy. Open your accounts here, and
are they dropping money as we speak now? So we can do it quick.
Yeah. So please just go to your Google or App Store and just download it as well. At a point in time at City, you also left for London to do your masters. I'm sure life in London, or correct me if I'm wrong.
If London is UK, then yes.
So to the UK.
Yeah. Yeah,
I haven't been there before, so I understand. To the UK, you go to the British Embassy for London visa. Or, yes. You left to do your masters. Would you mind telling us about your experience in?
No, I always knew that, in the kind of work we do, the only constant is change. So you have to learn.
Yeah.
And I needed to study something that would prepare me for where I was going. So I was just a radio presenter up until the time. And city management felt that I had leadership management potential. So they encouraged me to do an MBA. And I got a scholarship, a Shivering scholarship, to go and do that MBA for a year. It was a full year taught scholarship, a taught MBA, which really introduced me to a lot of things, looking from different cultures. Because the key to an MBA is the quality of people on the MBA, not what they teach you in the classroom.
Yeah.
Because the people on the course were really fantastic people. So sort of learned a bit about working with teams, understanding Africa in the world, marketing, operations, how things work. It was really good to take 1 year off radio, not listening and talk about any politics, and just looking at the things that matter to other people from other parts of the world.
Yeah.
It was a very important part of my development.
Being away from family, being in the UK, it's in London again. Being in the UK meant that you definitely have to make friends. Well, one of the persons that was around at that time, he spent 1 year in the UK, joins us today.
Oh, wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Sesinam Dagadu. He happens to be the CEO of Snooko. How many remember Snooko? Or no Snooko?
Wow.
Yes. That's Bernard's buddy.
Wow.
So he joins me here. There he is, please.
You're kidding me.
One more time. Put your hands together for Sesinam.
Says, so you know what they didn't tell me.
You can't trust people these days, can you?
Wow.
Welcome, Ceci.
Wow.
How you doing?
Wow. Like yourself, Mike.
Yeah. I think we should try it. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I'm good.
UK, not London. How did you meet Bernard in the UK? How did you guys meet?
Was it through the Ghana Society?
Are you asking me? This is why I asked.
Because it's a little bit perverse, right? Because the only thing, one of the biggest memories I have of Bernard is going to his house of residence at 7:20. If you come at 7:15, you'll miss it. If you go at 7:20,
Yes.
Bernard would have cooked.
He cooked.
Bernard would say, "Oh yes, oh come and eat." So myself, L.E.A.D,
They were just like,
Richie,
yeah.
we went over there at about 7:20. Bernard will say that we should eat. We said, "Well, if you insist."
Meanwhile, it's not coming in.
So where I even met him, I don't even remember, but I remember the food.
What did he cook?
Sorry?
What did he cook? Or what is he cooking?
What didn't he cook? As in, I was talking to your wife a couple of weeks ago, and she says you don't cook anymore.
But what do you cook?
Necessity is a matter of invention. So when you go to a country which is very cold with all these funny foods, and you've lived in Ghana and I wasn't married until I was 27.
Okay.
So I would go to a Ghana shop and buy ripe plantain, or I'll buy half cooked kinky, or I'll buy basmati rice as they call it there, and I would do all kinds of things. Fry the cocoa, and because I didn't like the British food, it was some ways, so I was cooking all kinds of things.
How was UK life for the two of you? You know, the moments you shared together. How did that affect and change you as compared to when you were in Ghana? Not to say Ghana is a bad place, no. But whatever added onto your lives in the UK.
So I left Ghana when I was 9, and I came back quite often. But in a sense, myself and Bernard came to the UK at the same time because at the end of my 3rd year, I moved back to Ghana. And when I moved back to the UK after a year, that was when Bernard was moving in, right? And so, for me it was...
Did you take him on tours around the UK?
Like he said, he went and bought this, what's it called? The plantain and things like. I'd been there for years. I didn't know where that market was, right? But so if anything, he took me on tour.
So the Ghanaian took the half Ghanaian, half Brit on a tour in the UK.
Yes, I said, you know the phrase, right? There are some people who enter, the building behind you, but by the time you realize they're in front of you. Bernard is one of those people, right? He taught me a lot about what you could achieve, right, in the UK, and those were a lot of things that I was taking for granted, right, at the time. So for me, I think one of the biggest benefits of meeting Bernard in the UK was, he was just going out and doing things, and I was like, oh, I didn't know I could do that, right?
Wow.
So that was, for me, that was a benefit. And I was also slightly better fed.
What was driving you to actually decide to walk around alone, or probably not alone?
Well, the thing is,
Discover place.
you see, I always say to people, before you do something, don't wait till you get there to decide. So I tell my friends, if you want to avoid temptation, okay, don't wait till the person comes and things are going to say, God, help me to avoid temptation. Because you need to plan. So I already knew when I went to the UK that I wasn't going to stay there for long. I knew I was coming back to Ghana. So I'm going to be here for a year. I have to maximize my time here. We formed the Ghanaians in Warwick thing, went on programs, traveled around the country to feel the place. I'm here for a year. Somebody's paying for it. So I can't come to the UK and start read and go back to Ghana. No. I won't have 1 year of my life to be in another person's country to be sponsored to study. And study is not books, it's people and experiences. So, because I can carry the book back and refer to it. But if I go, I don't know, Rory Castle, I haven't gone to Newcastle, I haven't gone to watch Aston Villa beating, what am I doing? So I try to make the experience more meaningful by doing a few more things, meeting a few more people. That's how come I met him. I met him during an argument. He wouldn't remember. A friend brought him and we're having this, I think it was one of the days before Obama's presidency, and there's a lot of people sitting in some place arguing. And this guy was just talking and talking and talking. I said, what's his name? His name is Sesina. You sound like a Ghanaian. That's how come I met him. So for me, UK was an experience to feel something different, not just when I read books and pass an exam and come back, which was why I seem to be doing a lot more things other than simply studying.
You hadn't started Snoo Code by then, had you?
Well, yes. It had been. I remember having one of the first conversations about it with Bernard.
Okay.
And I told you that I had just come back from Ghana. So after my 3rd year of university, I decided to take a break and come back to Ghana to find myself, whatever that means.
It's the year of the head.
So I returned and I was working at EcoBank. I know you might not want to hear that. But I was working at EcoBank, and it was around the time that EcoBank was moving from a merchant to a consumer bank, and part of the work was going out, getting people to open accounts and things like that. And I realized that I was always lost. That was the very first time I had actually done anything in Ghana. I was here all the time, I was always on holiday, nothing was consequential. So that's when the idea came to, build an addressing system. So when I went back to England, I already had prototypes and things like that, which, I spoke to Bernard about. He made a lot of, very key, crucial contributions at the time, because at the time, he had lived and worked in Ghana.
Yeah.
And made some introductions at the time. So yeah, that was around the time when New Code was an idea with a few bits of code attached to it. Yeah.
But then how did you receive this idea of New Code? Because in Ghana, GPS is a very, addressing or addresses is a very big problem. Up until the GPS, the new app came in. But how did you receive this idea?
You see, the truth is that the problems we face in this country will only be solved by people who know this context. So I really treasure Africans who studied in diaspora, who have the double context. Because you see, getting knowledge from MIT or Harvard or Warwick is one thing. Applying it within a context to work is a different thing. And I feel people like Cess are very important for us. So he can code, he's brilliant at coding, but he didn't really know the way Ghana worked. So I didn't really do much. It's more like talking about, Charlie, the resistance you face, the kind of questions you need to answer, you need to, before you introduce the idea. Because there are lots of people with great ideas, but the ideas don't work. But you do the coding well, but come back to Ghana and think about who to meet. So we tried to meet some politicians and things to get him moving using our networks. So the truth is that we need to encourage more people like him, who, because they love Ghana and live here, are frustrated by lack of direction, can apply their mental strength to code, to solve a problem, not thinking about money. Because it's very easy to go to a consultant and say, we'll pay you $2 billion, bring this device and come and solve our problem. You are just another statistic. You want somebody who's emotionally connected to the problem, who solves it and is happy to do it. Which is why I think the Year of Return is brilliant. And I think we should find a way of attracting, because it's not per chance that we have a lot of brilliant Ghanaians. Somebody told me we have more Ghanaian doctors in New York than in Accra. I don't know whether that's true. Ghanaians are brilliant. They're working in places. I have a friend who graduated with me in Presec. He's now an Australian citizen, doing great work in Australia in surgery and things. A lot of these people want to come back to Ghana. But Ghana is hard for people who've left for a long time. Because we are like, oh, that be for now, baby. Oh, you think you'll go abroad. So we have that thing, right? So you need someone who's grounded who say, you know what? Get a local guy, let's talk, because otherwise your idea will be stillborn. Which is one of the things we need to do, to learn to make Ghana attractive for those with brilliant ideas and energy to implement it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Cecilia. Thank you so much. Yes, very much. Please take your seat here. We are just almost at the end now, so don't be worried, but the seat is still vacant. Up until we take the seats away, then your heart can relax.
Yeah. Is that a question or am I supposed to say something?
Within your 37 years, a few, just mention a few, some of the major achievements, things you've taken, awards, things you've taken that you know that, yes, you're proud of yourself.
I think the people you are seeing who are testifying of what we are doing, is the award is
number one.
Award.
Please don't be like Shatawale. It is important to pick awards.
No, honestly. Awards are great, but if it was awards I was waiting for, the serious one I got was how many months ago? So I was
hold on to this picture.
I was very it was in 1983 anger that I tell my kids, people, you have food, they say, Daddy, I don't want this, I don't want that. I say, if you were born in my time, you don't have much of a choice. So what do you mean by achievement? So I've evolved. So I was a student up to Legon. Transition into media, and I'm still in media, so that's one. I was single, I'm married with kids, that's another. What else? What other transition is there?
Journalist of the Year.
Well, it's a really important.
Please put your hands together.
Award.
Very powerful.
I'm sure if anyone, I wouldn't be here because Ghanaians like awards, so a lot of times they want somebody with an award. So to the extent that Journalist of the Year is opening doors for me, people say, oh, come and do brand ambassador and things, I like it. But nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. It's the same guy saying the same thing. But I also think there's something else I should say. There's time and chance. Okay? Now let me say the mic, this mic's on way. Time and chance. So I feel there's a certain this is a good time for me. Because I'm getting a lot of people wanting to hear me, wanting to listen to my ideas. Ask Clement, 2005, 2006, Charlie, we were doing things so. Charlie, nobody was even listening, but you have to go through that. So if you can manage your moments of solitude, then you can manage your time in the sun. So I'm not going to be saying I don't value journalist of the year or something. The truth is that I live to make impact and to fulfill purpose.
That's the biggest achievement.
If I get an award, fine. Even if I don't get an award,
cool.
If I make impact, I'm happy.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please, this one, I'll please ask us all to be on our feet as we welcome the people who actually brought Bernard to this world. Put your hands together for Avle's parents who joined us here. Please, we can do better than this one. Yeah. We can do better than this one. Hey, put your hands together. Oh, yeah. Bernard and his parents.
Mama and Daddy.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah.
My sister and my brother.
They are all here as well, and sister and brother are here as well. Please, you can all have a take our seats. Yeah. This one. Now you can't lie. No, go back to the other one, please. Yes, this one.
9 months. 6 months or 9 months. Yeah.
Bernard, you remember 6 months?
This is 9 months. The 6 months is the this
Yeah, number one.
This is your glove. This is actually a colored picture. This is actually a few colored pictures. But it didn't come out. This is the one that came out yellowish.
Yeah.
Those times were not trying colored. So this picture was actually a colored picture.
A colored picture.
Yeah, but it's some way brownish.
Daddy, now I want to take you way back.
Okay.
When you realized you had another son, how did you feel? How did you feel when you realized that this is my son now? Because with my checks, he's the 7th born. Yes, the 7th born. Now, yeah, please put your hands up for him. Yeah. Another son. What did you say to yourself about Bernard?
Bernard?
Yes.
I thank God that's what we call him praise.
We call him Kafui. That means praise God.
Kafui.
So we praise God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daddy, how did you feel?
No, we're just happy that you had another son.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing extraordinary.
Oh,
How was Bernard like till about, let's say, age 5? How was he like? What were some of the things you saw about him? Not to say that he was unique, no, because he had other siblings who were all unique. But what about Bernard? How was he like? Stubborn? Naughty?
He wasn't that stubborn as such. Was somebody who liked to, push himself up.
Okay.
Okay? See him pushing things, even at that age.
He was strong and bold.
Strong and bold.
Yeah. And there was a time he said he's a soldier. So he was very strong, so you should call him soldier. So we are calling him soldier in the house.
Wow.
We don't want to call him soldier. We don't want to be a soldier.
There's no soldiers in the
So we
house.
stop.
Did he exhibit any signs of being a talkative with a lot of sense behind when he was young? For you to even say?
So at that age, no, because he was just like, he was quite initially.
Yeah.
But when he started going to board the siblings,
Yeah.
especially the brothers, and started reading, and then he was quite from that age up. He was then when he started, I think, primary school.
Yeah.
Started coming up, talking.
Yeah.
Yes, now becoming vocal and all that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
initially it wasn't so bad. Gradually developed.
Bernard, who are you closer to, mom or dad? Who would you share or talk to most?
my parents. I was close to
Hold on. Now I'm asking because when they're strict, would you say you were strict parents on Bernard? Or Bernard, would you say?
It's funny, in my house,
Yes.
my mom would even lash me. Yeah, because they were both working and we were many in the house. We had cousins and things. So they were both.
Don't worry, I'm not going them.
So it was like the same. My mother would say, when your dad comes, you see. She knows you can deal with you on your own. So, and we never saw them argue or anything because to have like 8 kids and we had other people in the house.
Yeah.
when you think about the kind of sacrifices they made for us to get where we got to. Now I have only 3 and I'm struggling. And you have, and we were a lot of us at various ages in the house, and they were both working 9 to 8 to 5 p.m. And we all did our homework, we all had our bath twice. And none of us went to do any other thing. So to think about it, they really did well. But it's now that it's dawning on us. You can ask my sister.
These are some of the things that we have instilled into them in the house. Even when they go out, you never come out, nobody come and report to us, oh, I see your child fighting. No. I mean, you see that during the holidays, they don't spend their time going with other friends. You either go to Bible school, I mean, to Bible school, or I mean, what was the workshop or SCU. So you don't see them playing all our children like us.
Bernard, per all this that they've said, was there another side to you that probably you didn't disclose? Maybe going to SU wasn't really, but because my dad said you were supposed to go for SU. Oh, you're 37 now, it's fine.
You know, the thing is that when you have a lot of kids, they go to a lot of things. We had a very great upbringing with neighbors. So for example, we had the Amitewids who were just next door to us. They also had young people like us. So we used to go out, do Christmas hat and things. We used to fool around and stuff. But they are 12, so they wouldn't know when they come back. And what I was saying, my dad says, when I'm back from work, make sure you are steady. I said, oh, Charlie, I have to play football. So when I'm playing the football and he drops on the truck, so Charlie, oh, Papa. So when I see him, then I run to the house. But I need to take two, 3 things. So I feel of the things I've learned most, my dad and my mom taught me separate things. My mom is a woman of faith. Until tomorrow, 4 a.m. she's on her knees praying. It's helped us. So my concept of faith I got from him. My concept of wisdom and the word from my dad. He used to force us to have morning devotion. 5:30. This month will be morning devotion. Charlie, we want to sleep. Carry water. Before let's pour water. Let's do morning. So the morning devotion, only the 2 of them are doing it. Everybody's hungry. When the light is angry, they say the light should preach. They say, why are you forcing me to preach? You know, so it was consistent. Everybody, cousins, everybody have to do morning devotion. Now, they didn't know, but when you are alone in university and you are now trying to manage your life, your dependence on the word of God, you learn from your dad. Your faith, you learn from your mom. So even though at the time we're resisting and kicking, now I can say all of us have understood that that was the right way to go. So for me, for that, I want to say thank you for that.
Did you ever have any issues at school? I know he was in University of Ghana Prime, UPS. Did you ever have any issues at school with teachers coming back to share a few things, you know, that consider him doing extra classes here in this, or, well, but obviously they can't remember, I think.
No, she remembers, class 1, 2.
It was class 1, and that problem, there was one teacher, and like, I didn't know that the teacher didn't care, she didn't care for him. And you know, when they said we have a, what do you call it?
Parent teachers
Who come and look at their work. And because that's what outside, so I have to go. And when I go, you see, normally you have to arrange the children's list for the parent to come and see. And when I go there, I will see my child's, there's no book for her. So I asked the teacher, where is my child's list? Then this woman will start going to the cupboard and find the books. I said, So I went to the headmaster and told him that I think the boy is not learning here, so I want him to repeat. And he told me that.
To repeat better?
Oh, wait, so that yes, because he's not learning anything. So he told me that no, class 1 you don't repeat. So I should wait so that she will go to class 2. Then we know how she will be. And lo and behold, it's true. When we went to class 2, he started coming out. That is the teacher that was correct.
Wow.
The teacher at class 2 was very, very correct.
Wow. we get to repeat better. Lastly, what was or is Bernard's favorite meal?
Probably my blessing comes back to you.
Great meal.
Or like, what would you see?
I'll tell you the one he doesn't like.
Okay, yes.
He doesn't like fufu and live soup.
I think this one we have a headline. Then you also don't like fufu and live soup? Yes.
I like fufu and live soup.
But where are you picking this one from? We are wondering.
I think part of the reason the whole fufu issue was the laziness in pounding it. That was the whole fufu issue. So when you're the youngest boy and there's fufu pounding, you're like, you can't go chop. So once you say that was the defense mechanism because I won't pound. So I forced myself not to like it.
Mom and Dad, lastly, would you wish and want your son Bernard to be the president of this country someday?
That one. I don't know.
Please, I don't want my child to do politics.
I have gotten the answer I'm looking for finally.
Although I admire what he does.
Yes.
To go to politics in Ghana here. I don't want to be president.
Yeah.
Where is now is okay. I prefer that he stays where he is. His contribution
And radio.
Let me put this on record. You see, Ghana,
Yes.
if you are a Christian with truth and everything, the moment you enter politics, it will turn
It's gone.
started doing what is not right. You can't say the truth.
Yeah.
And if you want the truth, you cannot be there.
Yeah.
Because people around you, they will damage you.
Yeah.
People around you,
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Bernard's parents. Thank you very much, Mom and Dad. I want you to come and take seats here. Thank you so much. Please, you can do better than this one, please. Put your hands together. So, we're going to give you a chance to also ask your questions, and then we can wrap up. But before we do that, I think earlier on, Bernard said something, and he mentioned that you can't do this alone. Of course, you need to do with God. But he's not the one I'm talking about here now. Ladies and gentlemen, since he knows, put your hands together for Justine, Bernard's wife, who joins us here this afternoon. Oh, there she goes. This one, he said he knows who I'm talking about. Put your hands together for her, please. Yes.
So that's why you're asking about.
And what I want you to see is that their clothes today and mine as well, was proudly designed and made by Namle Couture. Namle, thank you so much. So if you like the message that we are wearing, we are going to renew marriage vows today. Hallelujah. Amen. Please, where did he find you? Or where did you find him?
We met at a youth power conference.
A youth power conference in church?
Yeah, L.E.A.D has this conference. So at Lagos.
At Lagos?
So, yeah, that's where we met.
And how was the journey till, in fact, let me just skip the journey and go. So, how did he propose to you? What did he do? I want you to tell us.
Why do you want to know?
How was the surprise? That's fine.
Okay, so we met in 2005.
Okay.
I was a student at Regent University.
Okay.
Then he had to go to school. and then he came back from school.
Yes.
It was easy to, when he was in school, he actually came back once. It was a surprise. He didn't tell anyone he was coming.
Yes.
And
Just appeared.
so he organized some friends of ours
Yeah.
to let me come somewhere.
Okay.
And they had to look for so many excuses because all the things they were saying didn't actually add up.
Yeah.
And I went to their house at Joey. Yeah, that was where they happened.
They were having a party and I just appeared.
They didn't know he was, I didn't know he was coming, but they knew he was coming. So when he came, that's when he came.
Oh, put your hands together. Isn't that a lovely story? Now let's get to the other side. Now, I want to understand the father, Bernard. Can you share with us? We all know Bernard, the guy on radio who says it as it is. Who questions the people who are in authority and puts them right when they are wrong. Is that the same? I don't know if Daddy did the same to him, but is that the kind of father he is, where he's strict on his children? How is the relationship like? How is Bernard at home? He said he was home on Saturday when you were out. We're just trying to understand how he was at home.
I heard that when I was coming in. So yesterday is the only day I left my home with the boys. And when I go back, it was crazy. Everywhere, there was food here, everywhere. The whole house was a mess. 3 boys. Someone is holding his iPad, there's someone on his phone, and there's someone somewhere.
He had lost control.
And we had a neighbor's daughter around too, but he took care of them. I intentionally left home yesterday because I had plans, and we didn't have any help around at all. But he managed. He did excellently well. I was so surprised. Yeah, when I came back and I saw the house, everywhere was in a mess.
Yeah.
I went out again. I didn't mind anybody. I just said I was coming. But when I go back, he had actually cleaned the place. And I was like, so I should go out of him.
In relation to his work, do you talk about some of the things he discusses on at work? Does he bring it home for the woman's point of view, which almost is always right?
Not really. Because you hardly see Bernard at home. When he comes home, you don't want to talk about work because from Monday to Friday he's extremely busy.
Yeah.
So the weekends when he's at home, we hardly talk about city and all the things happening because sometimes I'm like, you talk about this every day. We are always talking about these things every single day. And
so even if you are cooking, it doesn't bring anything about. Do you know that the president has had it doesn't bring anything? No. I'm sure you stop him instantly.
No, we are not interested. We can see what's happening in Ghana. So,
are the kids showing any signs of Bernard in them?
You talk too much. Our first boy actually talks too much. I'm like, stop talking. We want some footballers in the family. No media people.
Yes, his blood is strong. His blood is really strong. Earlier on, Dad and Mom also mentioned the Christian faith and how religious they are. Does Bernard allow the 5:30 a.m. waking up as well as you do the same thing? Or what kind of Christian faith or upbringing does he bring home?
Okay, so Bernard is he's like a lay pastor in church.
Yeah.
So most of the times in the mornings when he is at home, you realize that most of the mornings is for Bible stuff, devotions, everything.
Now we know what the kids will say when they are 25, right?
So for that and Sunday services and all, you know that's nothing can change that. So most of the things we do at home is built around the Christian faith. That's the core of everything we do. So even when he's not around, you realize that we pray for him. Morning, we pray for him in the evenings, we pray for him all the time. so that he knows what to say and when to say, and he makes the right decisions. So that's what we do.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Thank you so very much. And that brings us to the end of my questions on Lead series. Please, Bernard, once again, please put your hands together for Bernard Avle. We're going to have 10 minutes to allow you to ask your questions, and then we can wrap up. Sorry, we started very late, so we've gone way past our time. We'll allow some questions. None of them will coordinate that. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask Bernard, and then we can run on it. So now I'll run over to you. I'm very sure you have a few you want to.
Good evening, Bernard and Jay Foley. And I'd like to start by thanking Jay Foley and your crew for putting this together. First, to meet people that we admire in the media, not only in the media, in Ghana and beyond. And Bernard, you might not know this, but I'm one of the few people that you've really touched. I mean, I don't know you, you don't know me, but then I started listening to you when I was 17 years old. I was in high school.
Wow.
I'm not even 25 yet. I was in high school, yeah, and I remember most of my peers were not listening to those kind of things. All they know is entertainment. But then I knew where I was going, and I knew the kind of people I wanted to listen to. And fast forward, I listen to you every morning, even till now, before I go to work. I listen to you every time, 6:20. 4 a.m. My station is on City FM. And yeah. And I would like to talk a bit about what you and Ceci were discussing about the technology and encoding. I mean, you guys come on radio, you rant, but technology can solve these issues that we are talking about quickly and effectively. So in Ghana here, we have a lot of developers here, but people don't know. And it's very, very hard getting them into the media.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm into technology. I work with a tech firm, and then we train people to build apps. And it's amazing what these young people do as some are even 12 years, and they are building real technology startup. I mean, one guy built, a 12-year-old boy, he recently built an app that can, address sanitation problems. You guys talk about sanitation every time, accidents. I mean, I think the media should really tend towards those things, not only things from outside or the diaspora. I mean, local talents are here. Okay. So you guys should just focus on that one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bernard. So, Jay, I think somewhere last 2 weeks when this particular program was postponed, I sent a message to you to ask Bernard that, like, some of the issues he talks about on the radio, when he doesn't get the feedback, how does he feel?
I think I really admire Bernard a lot, especially the way he expresses knowledge in various fields. I have heard his interview with Duncan Williams. He asked him a very intelligent question, and I think I would like to commend him for that. And he was really talking about the relationship between faith and then the growth of an economy. Yeah. When we were in crisis, he said that we should have a worship, a national worship, and that alone can push the nation forward. And so you were asking him the relationship between how can just going to pray push a nation forward. And then you had another interview with the best farmer of the year. And yeah. I was so surprised the way you expressed much knowledge in agric, when maybe we should be looking at economics, sociology, and other fields. So I was really impressed, and I just want you to know how you are able to do that. How are you able to really go into some field and stay without necessarily going to school on those fields?
Thank you. So I don't read as many books as you think. I listen to a lot of radio, like even here. When I hear something that's important, I write it down. Because I need to know so much, and I don't have that time and the mind. So what I've created is a system of getting information. I have a strong team. So I'm going to interview, as Mauli said, I'm going to interview somebody. They'll go help me. So if I'm going to interview James Watt, the national best farmer, they've done some work on him online. They'll print the stories for me. Then there are things he said in the past. Then I do some stuff, research. Google is very powerful. So it's not as if I'm some wild, walking anything. The people around are very strong. So the key thing is to, you see, you the leader just directs about what you want. Then they'll package it for you. Okay. So you must have an information system. You don't need to be smart. Your mind is not for storage of information. You should be able to retrieve information in a way that you can access. Right, so I don't need to chew everything in my head. but I need to know where I can go to get this. So if I'm interviewing Clement Akapam now, there should be a place I can go where I can raise things on him that can make the interview relevant. So that's the answer to your question. The feedback issue about, so what we do, we are sowing. So if I don't get, the purpose for going on air is not to get feedback tomorrow. We are sowing an idea into people's minds that number one, citizens can question their leaders. That number two, there's a better way of doing it. So for example, we said last week that you don't need to give road contracts to just one person to employ 10 people and get $1 million. Make road contracts labor intensive, solve unemployment. Now, they won't mind us now, but somebody who is coming in 5 years' time will think about it and realize that Ghanaians know that there's a better way of doing roads. So we are not doing it just because of who in power today. When we put ideas out, we put ideas out on the basis of the quality of the idea, not the ideas that we want the minister of roads to come and answer, even if they actually talk to us. Because the format of the show does not require that somebody comes to answer what we say. Because ideas run the world. So if there's a good idea, we put it out there, eventually the seed will germinate. And as this 17-year-old who's not a 25-year-old person is listening, in her generation, maybe the person who will be president is listening. So it's not really about me being president. It's about giving people the right information so that when they are supposed to make a decision, they will make the right decision. So media is light. But you see, media is not just light, media is also fire. So media must hold people accountable, make them uncomfortable. So in one way, we are letting people see, and that way we are making people who are corrupt uncomfortable. That's our main job. First question, technology. I'll just say thank you. Thank you for listening. And we do create platforms for technology. Philip Ashon has a show on Tuesdays. We will try and create more. And I think you should be on that program. So let's get in touch after the show.
10% of the salary. Any more questions? Okay.
You spoke very complete in terms of trying to make impact. You're not just there for awards and all that. So my question is, do you have any foundation that you raise people to actually make the impact that you have? Maybe necessarily out of your outfit, not particularly under the confines of your office, but maybe you have people that emails you have to respond to, you need to tell them this is how you come about, because some of us, we are in that field. And maybe just something little we are lacking. So I would expect, I don't know if you have, so I want to.
Establish the fact that you're a man of faith. So what's your take on the National Cathedral?
You just haven't seen me in my office. But I feel there's a lot of demand for people wanting to reach out and stuff. So I need help to set something like that up where I can, outside my profession, because I do take a lot of speaking engagements on campuses, but it's not organized. So you can ask Justine, almost every week I'm somewhere speaking at some university campus or some church or something. So I know I have an assignment to the youth, but I haven't created an organization to manage it properly. So I'll take that as a challenge. My National Cathedral is very simple. A couple of things. I think Christians can build a National Cathedral for themselves. So in our ideal society, we didn't need the state to fund it, right? Now, I can't speak for the president. He's a Christian, and he feels that in answer to a vow he made to God, he would help champion it. So I'll leave that between him and his faith. But for me, what I tell Christian leaders is that we should be able to pay for it ourselves, because it's not overdue to do things together. We are too denominational, right? So I think as a Christian, charismatics, Catholics, and all these people, everybody's competing too much. So an idea of National Cathedral is good, where we can speak with one voice and tackle collective problems. But I don't think they should have necessarily the state as a vehicle for it. Because if you look at the number of followers that all the churches command, and the kind of resources they command, they could have paid for their land, they could have organized it. That would even show that we are working together as a team.
Yeah.
That's my take, and I've told this to Christian leaders I've met, that I have nothing against a national cathedral. Okay, but the idea that the Christian leaders seem to need some impetus from outside for it to be done. And then people start asking questions about divisiveness and resources and priorities and all of that. So if the Christian leaders had come together and said, we have a land in Dodowa, it's 2,000 hectares, we've donated $2 million, want to build the National Cathedral, when we finish, we invite you to come and speak in it. Nobody will complain. It's because of the way it's being done that's what's making people move judges and stuff. That's what's causing a bit of confusion.
Then
the ideal society, it's a tough question. what I'll do is, the ideal society has different things. Certainly we must institutionalize truth. You see, the truth will make you free. If you don't value truth, you can't succeed. And truth is not just kanukreh. Truth is also reality. So truth is fact. Truth is veracity. So the Bible says you must know the state of your flocks. Otherwise they cannot produce for you. So when I say truth, we must make getting the truth, we must know who we are as a people. So as a society that people know who they have a right self-concept. We are not trying to be British people. We are Ghanaians, right? We must, that's one. That's the foundation for building anything. Because we don't build the thing on the right foundation to be destroyed. So the ideal society is a Ghana, that's why media is important. A Ghana that has institutionalized truth. That's why if somebody wants to run for president in certain countries, if you've done something in the past, they will bring it up. Because you are coming to lead a nation, one people under God. So you must be honest. So that's number one. Number two, it must be inclusive. We can't have a society where only 5% of people have all the wealth and the rest of people are struggling, people are sleeping in kiosks. So there must be social and economic justice. Our legal system, so in a society where when people work hard, they can succeed. People don't have to go and borrow money from relatives to get an injection at the hospital. I don't need to know somebody at 37 before I'm treated. You get me? So that's number two. So we are not saying everybody should be a millionaire, but the society must, our resources must be used in a way that makes the least have a chance. So that's the economic angle to the issue. Now, for the economics to happen, you need infrastructure. We must build things and have a culture of maintenance. You need roads for agri. Farmers will be poor forever if they can't cut their goods to the market. And somebody has to store it and give them half of the value of that. So that's why you need infrastructure. So development isn't roads, but roads lead to development. So the fact that we have 5-star buildings and people selling KFC doesn't mean we are prosperous. So people think that, Ghana, look at Stanchart, they have a nice bank. If the bank cannot bring people into financial inclusion, then it's useless, right? So a lot of people mistake the beautiful buildings for development. Is that the human being is the center of creation. So if your big bank, your big English cannot give people a chance to get good healthcare or education, it doesn't make any sense. So that's the inclusion, the human-centered part. Do you get my point? There's a lot I could say, but these are some of the things we want in our society. Obviously, where people are free of sickness, a lot of people die because of poverty. It's not because of Satan. A lot of people die because of poverty. Poverty. Do you know people come to my office with pay money for this person? They have this operation because we haven't built a system that supports the weak. Our wealthy people don't use money to support causes. How many the best of us have a proper endowment? All our money used to buy another car and give it at funerals. Values, so it's also a value-driven society, right? Where people value the right things. That's the society we need. And that's what we are fighting for. Because we want some party to win or some party to come out of power. Why do I need that for? How would that help me? So everybody think, oh, you are NDC, you are NPP. For what?
Ideal society, right?
That's not what we are fighting for. So there are other characteristics, we'll discuss that later. Thank you.
We'll take a last question if there is. Okay.
Good evening, Bernard. I could say you are so influential, and I'm proud you are Mayborn. We share the same birthday.
Thank you.
Every person needs to study, like in whatever field you are in, you're supposed to read. But I know that you can also not read without having clothes on. On that note, I make very beautiful clothes. So, I made what I am wearing. I made what Jay Foley's wearing. I made what Bernard is wearing. I made what his wife is wearing as well. So, follow me on social media, L.E.A.D across Instagram, Facebook, and I'll make you lovely clothes. And a special discount just because you attended the L.E.A.D series. So, take it seriously. Okay, so thank you very, very much for attending the 14th edition of the L.E.A.D series. We are really grateful for you to take time out and come here. We do not take it for granted at all because time is money for everybody. So to come out here, we are really grateful. We've had 14 amazing editions. We are going on to 100. And so we need you to come along with us. So we have other presentations. So we welcome Judith, to come and do a presentation for us.
Thank you. Bernard, thank you so much for joining us. Just like the lady said, you're a very influential person, 2121. We're so grateful for you to come here and be with us. So we have a little token. I don't want to read it, I'm sure. So thank you so much. This is from us to you.
And please do well to follow our pages on social media, and then when we put up the next LEAD series, we'll be glad for you to attend. Thank you very much to Standard Chartered. We will have some pictures, and please feel free to photo and take some pictures with Bernard as well. Yeah.
This is
All right, so thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Stagecraft to activate, to urge as well. So please, without
I'm